Herr Spahn, thanks for taking time to talk to Deutsche Welle here in Milwaukee at the RNC.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here actually and talking to you. I mean, this gets obviously a lot of international attention, which is rightly so, and for us Germans especially, because the US, they are our most important ally economically, for our security, for geostrategical approaches, and so it's very important to be here.
So, what is your main reason to be here at the Republican National Convention?
First of all, I want to get the mood. What is actually the Republicans are up to if they should win in the next elections. Of course, I want to get a mood what President Trump might be up to if he wins the next election. And I would say it's most likely that he might be the next president of the United States of America. And we should not make the same mistake again. Last time he became president, no one really had a network with his team. No one really knew what's going on. And this time we should just knew in advance and should try to get in contact in advance to him, to his team especially, and that is why it's important to be here.
So you're mainly here to network with Republican Party members?
To network and to get a clue what they intend to do. You know, when I listen to President Trump, I don't like the style in many ways, in many regards, and what he twitters and so on. But if I take the content, and it's very comprehensive over the last, I would say, 3-4 decades actually, when it comes to non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, when it comes to strengthening the European arm of the NATO, that we in Europe must do more, when it is about trade and fair trade regarding China, regarding the rest of the world. In all these issues, actually, we do have common interest. And this time, from the very first day on of a possible new President Trump, we should have a common approach actually as Europe towards this new administration, and perhaps have some initiatives, offers in all these matters I just mentioned to get common ground.
Whenever I go back home to Germany, everybody asks me, how can this happen? I hear that you have a kind of a different approach to Trump as many other Germans.
Well, in general, I just say the US are our most important ally. They are the ones who guarantee security in Europe. The truth is, without the United States of America, Europe can't be secure. This counts for today, this counts for the foreseeable time. And so we do need the US as our partner, no matter who the president is. And that sometimes I wonder if all Germans really have understood this already. And the re-election of Donald Trump might be a kind of a wake-up call to finally become adults in Europe, to finally get our things together, pull our things together, to invest more in our security, the 2% goal of NATO, for example, taking as a minimum line, not as a maximum, and to do more for our own sovereignty in partnership with the US, no matter who the president is.
We just learned that Donald Trump picked J.D. Vance as his VP. What do you make of that?
Well, I was kind of surprised, and of course I know what J.D. Vance has said in the past, for example, about the war in Ukraine. But then I thought, perhaps, we will see, that's a chance. Because last time, a count of looked like Vice President Pence, and candidate Pence, before they were elected, was kind of attracting the middle, the center, the swing voters, and Trump was somehow for the tribe voters. And this time it might be the other way around, that the vice president candidate Vance is for the tribe ones, for the very convicted ones, and President Trump himself might be the one who tries to attract the swing voters, the center, the political center, and perhaps especially after the tensions we have seen, after this assassination attempt we have seen, this might be a new approach of trying to unite the country. We will see if that develops that way, but that might be the chance of it.
I just wanted to ask you, I mean, I'm sure you also followed these horrible moments and hours when we really didn't know what happened and if anything worse might be even happening. What was your first kind of reaction when you learned about the assassination attempt?
It was just stunning, overwhelming in a negative way. I was shocked, and you see it, still you see it every second, every minute played in some of the media news here, and to see the scene is somehow I don't know, it feels unreal somehow to know that just by some centimeters he could have been dead. And imagine in what situation we would be in if we really had get murdered on the scene there, and it was just, in the word of it, so close, and that is what really is kind of stunning. And at the same time you wonder, how can this have happened? First, one aspect is of course the security aspect, that's going to be worked out and investigated, but then this country is so divided, so much tensions, and you wonder if this is a moment when people get reuniting, or if it is even bringing more attention to the country. I think this still needs to develop, and we still need to figure out.
Does this also make you think about Germany, and if you politicians are safe enough back home?
Well, we do see the same in Germany, that there is more aggression, not just verbally, but in attacking politicians and trying to block them from just doing events or whatever. And I think we really need to relearn to have tough decisions and tough discussions, especially because there are matters on the table in the US as in Europe and Germany, migration, economic situation, recession, whatever you name it, that need to be discussed in a tough way that makes clear the differences that people are going to vote on, and at the same time that we do it in a way that makes sure that we still can connect, that we still can talk to each other, that we still feel as part of one community and are not divided. And to find that right balance is actually what we need to do all over in Western democracies. And I think the US is in need of this more than perhaps any other democracy right now, to find a new balance how to discuss political issues.
We are here at the Republican National Convention. It's only weeks away that we will be, at least me, at the Democratic National Conventions. What do you make of the debate right now, if President Biden is still the right candidate for this moment in history?
Well, you know, I think we as Germans or Europeans or whoever on the world, it's not on us to give advice to Republicans or Democrats here in the US. It's their decision. But I think you can see the differences between the two candidates. You can see them very clearly, especially in the last days.
Mr. Spahn, Herr Spahn, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.